concrete walls. There's a place for us where we could go, where we could be alone. Between city lights, we don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up? What's up? I'm back, baby. I'm back. I'm back. Oh, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Hang on, I'm sorry. That was just a joke. I do not need my pants to be jacked up that high. That was just a little joke. I would also like to convince you that I was pretending that I can't do push-ups just as a gag. I can do better push-ups than that. What's up, you guys? Oh, has it been like 3 weeks? It has. But we're back. I'm back. Oh, it was good to get to hang out in Orlando with the Rotor Riot crew and shoot some episodes. It was good to get to hang out in Miami. I did not get to fly while I was in Miami. Technically, this was a family vacation with a little bit of work interspersed into it to make large parts of it a business expense and therefore tax deductible. Yeah, that's one of the privileges of being self-employed, is that if you can just vaguely swing something into the business direction, then suddenly lots of it becomes, well, I mean, you get a discount, I guess. Not paying taxes is kind of like getting money back. But did not get to fly with the folks in Miami because I was a little too preoccupied with family stuff. Did get to have breakfast with them. There, about 10 guys from Miami came out. Very, very good meeting them. And yeah, that's pretty much what it looked like. That's pretty much what it looked like. That's it. That's me on the left there. If only. My impression of Miami. I've never been to Miami before. I have literally. I don't think I've even been through the airport. My impression of Miami is that first of all, I think that the average sort of attractiveness of people in Miami is higher than the other. So let's just say some other parts of the world. I saw a surprisingly large number of sort of fit, well put together, groomed people. I'm sure that I'm sure there's a spread, but that was my first impression. My second impression of Miami is that why do y'all hate my turn signal so much? I was driving a pickup truck with a U-Haul trailer behind it. Okay? And I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to get over so I could make an exit. And I turn my turn signal on. And the guy in the other lane just is like, nah, F you. I'm like, okay, I see how it is. I was in stop and go traffic. Literally, there was an accident. Traffic was stopped. And so, like, what you do in that situation is you put your turn signal on. And then, like, if people still aren't letting you in, you wrap the horn a little bit, and you're like to the guy over to the side. Hey, buddy, can I get in? Can I get in? Will you let me in? And the rule of humanity is that if I make eye contact with you, then you gotta let me in, right? Like I've had it happen in other cities that I'm like beep 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 beep. Hey, buddy, hey, I'm over here, and they're just like, I do not see you. I do not see you. I got I don't know, maybe I'm playing music, didn't hear you, not letting you in, and then they go. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. This son of a bitch in Miami, he looks over at me, he's like, yes, sir, what are you honking about? And I'm like, excuse me, sir, can I get in? Can we let me in? And he's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And then he looks over at his wife in the passenger seat, and he's like, ooh, and she's like, ooh. I'm like, you made eye contact. You have to let me in. I don't know what this guy possibly... what do you want me to do? I don't know. So that's the two impressions that I have of Miami. Good-looking people, shitty, aggressive drivers. I had a U-Haul trailer. Cut me a break. I'll tell you what, though. I got real good at backing that trailer. I would never claim that I'm, like, good at backing a trailer. I guess I just did. Because I've embarrassed myself before trying to back a trailer. But, so, we're going to spend one night in the hotel in Miami and then go to this camping event that we were at the next morning. And I accidentally booked the hotel, and it was in an area with the parking was in a parking garage, and I'm like, I'm not taking a U-Haul trailer into a parking garage. So I had to drive around the block and try to find a place to park the truck. And my GPS kept giving me walking directions because it thought I was walking for some stupid reason. So I'm like messing with the GPS. I'm driving. I'm trying not to kill anybody. I take a turn down a road, and I realize I've turned down a dead end. And there's nowhere to turn the truck around. And I have to back the trailer all the way down this dead-end street. And then I don't want to back the trailer out into traffic because I'm by myself, because my family is in the hotel, and I've said, well, you go up to the room. I'm gonna park the truck. So I realized that I have to K-turn the truck. So I actually backed the trailer into a driveway and then back out again. And I was like, I have no fear. There's nothing to fear in the world for me anymore if I can do this. So, there you go. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. But what we're really here for There we go. What we're really here for is you. Not me telling stories about my trip. We're here for you. We're here to answer your questions about FPV and other things. I'll be taking your questions here in the YouTube chat. I'll be taking questions from these beautiful, beautiful people over in the Discord server. These beautiful people in my Discord server are my patrons. They're going to get a special treat today. Today, after the live stream, I will be playing Fall Guys on the Discord server. Fall Guys is a fun little multiplayer game. The reason I'm going to be playing it is, number one, it's free, so anyone can download it. PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and Switch. Totally free to download, so anybody who has one of those gaming platforms can get in on it. And you can have up to 60 people in a lobby, and then it's like over the course of the rounds, people get eliminated. So like pretty much as many people. When we were playing Among Us, you could get like 4, 6, maybe 8 people. I don't remember the max number. But this is going to get as many people. So if you are a patron and you're on the Discord server, then I will see you shortly after the stream, probably at about 3:15. If you're interested in participating in that, there's still time to sign up. There's a link to my Patreon, and you can sign up and get on the Discord server in the next 2 hours. I will not be able to give you tech support if you have trouble figuring out how to do that, because I'll be streaming. But yeah, looking forward to that with you guys. I actually have played like 3 rounds. I've watched people play this game. It looks fun and silly and lighthearted. I've played like 2 rounds just to make sure it would work. So y'all are going to crush me. But it's going to be fun. Among Us is 15 people. Thank you, Rexcraft Gamer. Has it always been 15 people? I don't know about that. And then last thing, if you want to make sure I read your comment, hit the $sign down here, leave a super chat. Still time for you to be the very first super chat in the stream. We got to start. We got to start making up for because I haven't done a stream in like 3 weeks. And a fair chunk of my YouTube income is those super chats. I notice when I don't do live streams that the YouTube income starts dropping. And then I also haven't posted a video in like a week. I have a couple videos ready to go, but I was just like, you know what? Let's start back on a Monday. So definitely leave those super chats because no, it's not that bad. But I'll be reading those just a little bit later in the stream. But let's get started with some questions. Let's see. I like this question from Enzil3. Enzil? Is that how it is? NZ. I have no idea how you would pronounce that name. But I like this question. Would you say it's tough getting used to a 4:3 aspect ratio in the Runcam Link Wasp BTX camera when you've flown 16:9 in the sim? No. I mean, so here's the thing. I don't have a problem going back and forth between 4:3 and 16:9. I prefer to fly the camera in its native aspect ratio. So I prefer a 4:3 camera if the sensor in the camera is 4:3. I'm sorry, I prefer a 4:3 display if the sensor in the camera is 4:3. I prefer a 16:9 display if the sensor in the camera is 16:9. And the reason for that is that if you've got a camera with a 4:3 sensor, and then the camera is outputting 16:9, the camera will be chopping off the top and bottom of the image. So there is some vertical field of view that I could be getting that I'm not getting. Now, that's not universally true because the lens will also have an effect there. Like, you could design a lens that only shines on the 16:9 slice of the 4:3 sensor. I think that the HD0 camera does something like that. I'm going to mix up the details. But in general, when you run a camera in its native aspect ratio, you get more field of view. And in general, that's what I want. I think personally for FPV, more vertical field of view is desirable. And so that's why I prefer to fly 4:3. Because if you think about it, when you've got a quadcopter, if you pitch, you're usually pitched forward, right? So you need to be able to see ahead of you. So you want that vertical field of view. Having more horizontal field of view theoretically lets you see more to the sides, but to me, that's less useful than, say, having more vertical field of view. So I prefer to fly 4.3, although obviously it would be possible with the right lens to have just as much vertical field of view on a 16:9 camera, right, as you would have with a 4.3 camera with a different lens. But generally, I prefer 4.3. I don't think there's a big deal going back and forth. If you've been practicing in 16:9 on a simulator, flying 4.3, it takes a little adjustment, but I don't think it's a big deal. If you're used to 16:9 and you like to fly 16:9, more power to you. I really don't think it's a deal breaker. The other thing is that if your goggles are 16:9 widescreen, then you are giving up some field of view by flying them in 4.3, right? So it also helps to fly in the native aspect ratio of your goggles. Although that, like when I fly walk snail, I fly 16:9. Don't care. When I fly analog in the HD0 goggles, I usually fly 4.3. Don't care. We go back and forth. It's not a big deal. Ghost Branch FPV has an interesting point. Let's think about this for a second. I'm not sure I agree, Ghost Branch. Ghost Branch says 16:9 is only less vertical field of view, not more horizontal field of view. The field of view on the sensor remains the same. It's just cropped. I don't know if that's true, because if you've got a 16:9 sensor and then you crop it down to 4.3, your vertical field of view remains the same, but now you're getting less horizontal field of view. And I think it depends on the native. And at the end of the day, you could put an ultra wide angle lens on it and open up the field of view. I just like a more square image. I think a more square image is easier to fly. But that's, I don't think it's like a big deal. Okay. Oh, they've changed the interface on this chat thing, and now I can't figure out how to operate it. Where's the clear? Where's the clear message? Send text message. Where's the button to clear the damn featured messages? Damn it. Where? That's not it. Where's the damn... How do I get rid of this message? No. No. Go away. Oh, what's that do? Clear this filter. Okay, great. Close this dialog. Okay, great. How do I get rid of the damn message? Oh, goodness gracious. Well, there's only like 5 buttons, so it's got to be one of them. Right? Pause. Send a text message. Start beeping. No, don't do that, for God's sake. Hide messages that contain emojis only. Text to speech. Where's the button to clear the damn... Oh, God. Why would you... I hate this. I hate this stupid program. Cool. That's just going to stay up there, huh? Alrighty. Well, I guess I'll just have to have more questions. Nasty FPV has a weird question. I'm having an issue with screen tearing and black lines in my video feed when hitting full throttle. So because this is a digital system, that has to be an issue between the camera and the VTX. That cannot be an issue between the VTX and the goggles. With analog systems, you can get noise injected into the signal. With digital systems, you can get noise injected into the signal, but it doesn't affect the image quality by creating like black lines and whatever. With digital systems, when there is noise injected into the signal, you simply get more corrupted packets, a reduction in bit rate, more blockiness, and so forth. So if you're getting actual artifacts in the image itself, the only way that could be happening is between the camera and the video transmitter. That's my opinion. I don't know what the PWM problem you're describing is. I would think about how your video wire between the camera and the O3 is routed, but it really should be shielded, and you just really shouldn't be happening. I mean, might replace the wire between the camera. The X up top just closes the dock. The down arrow is scrolled to the bottom. There used to be a goddamn button here to clear the goddamn message. Well, now it's gone. Where did it go? Oh, you click it again? Well, that's stupid, and I don't like it. That's stupid, and I don't like it. Also, this goddamn filter box used to just be persistent, and you didn't have to open the damn thing every time you wanted to interact with it. Now it closes, and you have to open it every time you interact with it. So, shut the F up. Congratulations, you've made your product less useful. It's free product, so I don't have any room to complain. Let's see here. Oh, the USAF Tiny Whoop race is happening right now. Well, they shouldn't have tried to go over my streaming time. What are you gonna do? No. Got a question here from Meme FPV in the Discord. Meme FPV says, "Will you be attending the TDA Barbecue Bando in March?" There's a non-zero. I've always said that there's a non-zero chance that I'll go. I have not confirmed that I am going. For those of you who don't know about this event, it is about a 5-hour drive from me, which is it's a bit of a drive. I have another thing that I'm doing at the very end of March. So, March is filling up. I'm pretty sure this is sold out. I don't know why I always try to promote stuff, but I think is it sold out? Oh, a spectator pass. 28 remaining. Oh yeah, the pilot pass is sold out, so you can't go even if you want to, except as a spectator. It's possible. It's close enough to me that it's possible. It sounds like a really fun event. I have not confirmed that I'm going. Because if I said I was going for sure, then people would expect me to be there and might show up. And then if I didn't show up, I would have let people down. And I don't want to do that. So go because it's a great event. Don't go because you're counting on me being there. Yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Let's get some super chats. Can I... Have super chats already started falling off the edge? No. Now, can I control click these? I can. 1. Let's see. Abra the Ham. 2. I can queue these guys up. Oh, that's nice. That's Tim Crake. Got you. Okay, hang on. Zen Chouette. I wish I could have it auto queue super chats. That would be a useful feature. Doug Wolf. Got you. And we have a super chat from Jonathan Rogley. Okay, now let's look at the queue. Pavo Christos, thank you for a £5 super chat. My T-Lite needs reflashing to bind to a Mobilite 7 SPI receiver every time, yet my Betaflight module holds bind with the same quad, all on 251 as SPI. Well, that doesn't make any damn sense, I'll tell you what. That doesn't make any damn sense, friend. That obviously shouldn't need to happen. If you power the... I would want more information, Pavo Christatus. I would want more information about exactly how this happens. Like, you flash the tea light, it comes back from flashing, it's bound. Do you now just literally power cycle it one time and it's unbound? Yeah, like, what causes it to lose its bind? It shouldn't need reflashing, and it shouldn't lose its bind. The other question I would ask, Pavo, I always ask this whenever somebody says they're having trouble getting an Express LRS module to bind. What is the LED on the receiver doing? So even on an SPI-based flight controller with an SPI-based Express LRS receiver, there will be a status LED for the receiver that'll indicate there can be other things that cause it not to bind, like model match being wrong or something that can be found out by looking at the LED on the module. That's a weird one. I mean, can you update it to Express LRS 3.0? And I know you said you have an SPI receiver. You could update the Mobilite to Betaflight 4.4, and that would put it on Express LRS 3.0. Maybe that would solve it. Abraham, thank you for a $10 super chat. Abraham, always a big fan and a great supporter. Good to see you, man. Abraham says, can I use you to help me find a dope STL of a Walksnail VRX mount for the HD0 goggles? Well, Abra, I assume that you have Google searched or used. In case people don't know, my favorite, you can search on Yegi.com for 3D stuff. That's a good 3D search engine. Also, there's, what's the one from Prusa? What's the Prusa one? Printables.com. The way that Prusa usually does things, this is probably going to be the best before too long. Let's see if the FPV community has discovered it, though. HD0 Walksnail VRX mount. Let's see. What is he looking for? Is he looking for a VRX mount? STL of a Walksnail VRX mount. So here is the slidable mount. This is probably what I would use if you have the HD0 goggles. Is this going to work for you? Maybe that'll work for you. Oh, it's Velcro. This guy's using Velcro. That's clever. How about that, Aber? Is that good? Abraham also asks, we're going to give him 2 questions because he's a patron. Abraham says, the wife and I are going to be buying a new house in the next few months. How many acres is big enough to fly a 5-inch around and not piss off the neighbors? My lot is 2.5 acres. Because I'm out in the middle of nowhere, though, I don't have very many people right on my property line. In several directions, the next house over is further than that. I think you could fly on a 3-acre lot and not piss off people too much. It depends on where you are. Like, if you're in certain parts of town, then people are going to be... Like, let me put it this way. If you have a HOA where you live, you're screwed. Forget about it. The kind of people who buy in a HOA are going to be all up your butt about every little thing, and 3 acres isn't enough. But if you're in unincorporated Knox County, then you're going to be all right. Next up, thank you, Tim Craig, for a Craig. I'm going to say Craig. Thank you for a $5 super chat. You guys could be watching the Pro Class Finals for the USAF Museum Race, presented by We Bleed FPV on the Cincinnati Quad Racers channel. You could be. You probably should be. Thank you, Zen Shuet, for a €10 super chat. Welcome back, Bardwell. Do you think a Skyliner would be okay for nearly a full acre of land? Yeah, absolutely. With a couple palm trees and uneven grass. Sure. I mean, like I said, my property is 2.5 acres. Just about anything will fly on an acre. Acre's not that big. You can fly a tiny whoop on an acre. Sure, buy a Skyliner. If you like a Skyliner, go for it. Doug Wolf says, I built a Whoop Beta 85 size based around 2S batteries, but the thing just takes off with 2S, flies regular with 1S. Is this a PID tuning thing? Yes, Doug. Thank you for a $5 super chat. It is a PID tuning thing and maybe a filtering thing. So what you're going to want to do, Doug, is this. Wait, no, wrong thing. Here we go. Doug, what you're going to want to do is I have a flight controller right here. Connect. Oh, no, disconnect. Wrong one. Here we go. Got it. Doug, in the PID tuning tab, you are going to go down to, let's see. Here we go. This is what we want. Hang on. You're going to want to go down here where it says cell count for auto profile switching, okay? And what that's going to do is it's going to automatically change your PID profile based on the cell count of the battery you plug in. So here are your PID profiles. Do you see that I have 4 possible PID profiles? So I'm on profile number 1. And what I'm going to do is down here where it says cell count for auto profile switching, I'm going to change that to 1S. And then I'm going to save. Okay? Then I'm going to switch to profile 2. And actually, what I should probably do is click copy profile. Oh, no, sorry, hang on. Go back to profile 1. When I'm on profile 1, I'm going to copy profile from profile 1 to profile 2. And that'll give me profile number 1 as a starting point. Alternatively, you can simply go to profile 2, which is currently on defaults. And I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to set the cell count for auto profile switching to 2S. And save. And what that's going to do is it's going to automatically switch me between these 2 PID profiles depending on the voltage of the battery that I plug in. And then on profile 2, I'm going to tweak things. Like, for example, I could go to the filter settings. And a lot of times if you have a higher voltage battery, that's going to give you much higher RPM. I mean, going from 1S to 2S is going to approximately double the RPM of the motors. That makes a big difference. Sometimes you'll get a lot more vibration and you'll need a lot more filtering when you do that. For example, I'm just like giving you examples. Don't take this as gospel. Sometimes you'll need to go and you'll simply need to turn the master multiplier down because the motors are making so much thrust that the PIDs, that's where I would probably start. I would probably start by just turning the master multiplier down to like 0.5 or 0.6 and see if that fixes it. If that doesn't fix it, I would bring the filter settings down as well. But that's how I would approach this problem. Next up in the queue, Jonathan Rogley. Thank you for 5 Swiss francs. Is it possible to convert the S-Bus pad into UART for OSD? In short, no. Especially because you need a TX pad. Now, you can remap let's say you've got a situation where you've got a UART TX pad that's being used for something, and the RX is free. Okay? So, like, I don't know when you're using TX for Ghost or Spectrum SRXL2, and the RX is free for that same UART. You could remap the RX to soft serial TX. I'm 99% sure that that would work. And then you would need another pad to remap to soft serial RX, and then you would have another UART available, a soft serial UART. That's not going to work with an S-Bus pad, though. So if you say that you've got an S-Bus pad, what that tells me is that you've got an F4 flight controller. Because F7 flight controllers don't have S-Bus pads, they just have UARTs. And any UART on an F7 flight controller can be used for just about any function. But on an F4 flight controller, the UARTs don't support a function called inversion. And S-Bus requires inversion. So the way that F4 flight controllers deal with this is that the designer of the flight controller will have a pad, the S-Bus pad, and the signal from that pad will be routed to an inverter. which is a separate discrete component that inverts the signal. And then that inverted signal will be fed to the UART, and that will allow you to use SBus on that flight controller. But it only works with the SBus pad, and it only works for signals that have to be inverted. Theoretically, you could buy an inverter and solder that inverter in line with the signal wire. And what that'll do is it'll invert the signal, and then the SBus inverter will invert it again, and you'll get a non-inverted signal coming in to the UART as expected. But that still won't turn the RX into a TX. And probably that's just too much trouble and you wouldn't go that direction. Okay. Alrighty. And now we are caught up a little bit on Super Chats. I'm going to queue up the next batch of Super Chats. And then I'm going to answer a couple more questions. Greg Kukanich. Oh, Kestrel FPV. Well, I guess I'll take these 3 Super Chats. Jeez, Kestrel FPV. No question, just wanted to welcome back. Thank you for a very, very generous $50 Super Chat. Very, very appreciate that, friend. Greg Kukanich, thank you for a $10 Super Chat. I'm looking to build a 3.5 inch using an AOS 3.5 V2 frame. I want to use the HC0 Freestyle VTX, but I would need a 30 by 30 AIO to fit it all in the frame. Any recommendations on a 30 by 30 AIO? The only AI, are there any 30 by 30 AIOs? Aren't they pretty much all 25 by 25 these days? Am I crazy, guys? Tell me in the chat if I'm crazy. Also answer the question. I think they're, but let's look at the AOS 3.5 V2. What's the mounting situation on the AOS 3.5? I just want to see the damn frame and see the mounting situation. It supports a central 30 mil. Oh, I see your problem. It can mount a 25 millimeter, but if you've got the 30 millimeter VTX, you have to have a 30. So what you could do is you could get a 30 to 25 adapter. I don't know if this is a perfect solution, but like, for example, you could get something like this. So if you 3D print something like this, 3D printed out of TPU probably to give you a little bit of shock absorption, this will let you mount a 25 millimeter toothpick flight controller on top of your 30 millimeter VTX, and maybe that would work. Dub Squared, thank you for a $5 super chat. Just another reminder that there is pro class whoop racing live on the Cincinnati Quad Racers YouTube channel. John Goblin has a question in the Discord. John Goblin, you have 2 H's in your name. I never noticed that before. John Goblin says, I have a question about DJI O3 auto mode. Does it only switch channels to avoid other digital systems, or will it avoid broadcast systems like HC0 as well? John, this is, I am just going to repeat what I think Madstech showed on his channel. Okay. So, you know, give credit where credit's due, but also just want you to know I haven't personally verified this. Madstech showed that it would avoid any transmitter, analog, etc. So in case you guys don't know what we're talking about, the DJI O3 Air unit, by default, it has auto as its channel selection and its bandwidth selection. You can set it to manual and manually lock it to a channel and manually lock it to like 40 megahertz bandwidth. But by default, it's set to auto. And what it does is extremely clever. In fact, I was just talking to Drew about this when I was in Orlando 2 weeks ago, because they're thinking about how they're going to handle this during Rampage. And Drew thought, as many people would, that the DJI Auto system automatically avoids other DJI transmitters, and that it just says F you to anybody else in the band, because people assume that DJI is like going to do the worst. And it's not true. What MadsTech showed is that when DJI O3 is set to auto, it will automatically move away from and avoid any other transmitter, analog, Walkstill, HD0. It will automatically try to avoid interfering with them by moving to a different frequency and by reducing its bandwidth. In other words, if you have it set to auto, it will switch from 40 megahertz to 20 megahertz to try to avoid interfering. And for as much flack as DJI gets, people say, oh, DJI, they don't respect non-DJI pilots. They just interfere. They don't give a damn. In my opinion, that's not even true. What happened is that DJI released a system that worked differently than everybody was used to. For example, the DJI goggles also transmit, and everybody didn't realize that. And then new pilots came in and didn't take the time to educate themselves, and the community got angry at them. Some members of the community got angry at them and didn't educate them, or they didn't give a crap. But I don't think DJI should have gotten the flack for that. The fact that some users of the DJI system were uneducated and didn't know how to integrate themselves. But, you know, okay. But I think DJI absolutely deserves credit for when they went to the O3 system, completely redesigning their system to actively avoid. So it's like DJI was like, okay, our users are going to be just, I fly DJI. I guess I'm going to plug in now. I'll do whatever I want. I've just offended probably more than a few people. I fly DJI, right? That's the number one thing I fly. So, take it with a sense of humor, okay? DJI was like, okay, I guess that's who our users are. And they made the system give their users a worse experience under some situations. Because if you're flying the DJI O3 system and a bunch of analog pilots power up, the O3 system will reduce itself from 40 to 20 megahertz to try to make more space for the other people. As a result, the DJI pilot will get worse image quality. DJI's the good guy here. DJI's the good guy here. They deserve credit for that. 100%. So that's how, at least based on what MadsTech showed, and I'm not claiming the system is perfect or will never interfere or everything is, I'm not like trying to blow smoke up your ass. I'm just saying that that's just an unequivocally good move. Everybody going to Rampage who has the goggles too and an O3 system, the number one thing you can do is do the ham unlock. In fact, I think that they're going to have ham unlocking at the at the check-in station, so everybody flying O3 has ham unlock, and then set your goggles to auto so that they will handle trying not to interfere. One IFPV says, not for 1 second did DJI do this out of respect for other pilots. Everything they do is self-serving. They did this to make their system perform better in areas with a lot of RF noise. That's fine, but also it makes things better for other people. Good to see you, Siati. Good to see you, Slat. Slat FPV. I'm going to... Slat, sometime in the next 6 months, I might be going out to Vegas. If I do, I'm going to look you up, and I'm going to make you show me all your spots. We'll see if that pans out. My kid wants to... There's this thing in Vegas called I think it's called the Mega Mart. It's this weird attraction he wants to go. He's wanted to go. There are two things my son wants to do in Vegas. One is to see the Mr. House's casino from Fallout New Vegas, the actual casino that's based on, and the other is to go to this Mega Mart, and I've been putting him off for like 2 years. I know I haven't been to Vegas, though, man. There have been several times when I could have come to Vegas, but didn't. The last time, I think it was your schedule that didn't work out, for the record. I can't remember, though. Anyway, Slot's got all the good spots. All right. Let's take some questions from the chat. Good to see you again, Siati. Calling me a shill. It's a good thing you're a moderator. Lode Van Hicken asks, which radio should I use to start my first sim? The question you're asking is, what should your first radio be? That heavily depends on your budget. I guess the first thing we should do is go to my website, fpvknowitall.com, and look at the controllers and receivers section. This is where I make my product recommendations. So the iFlight IF8E is extremely inexpensive. It only works with FreeSky receivers. Does it even have a simulator mode? I would assume it does. And it costs... I don't actually recommend this, for the record. As it says here, if you can spend a little bit more money, that's what you should do. It's $50. It's out of stock, so it doesn't matter. I would steer you in the direction of something like the Radiomaster Boxer or the Radiomaster Zorro. Radiomaster Boxer, $40, or as low as $100 if you get the FreeSky version. Radiomaster Zorro, $120, or as low as $100. So just pick your form factor. My preference would be to get the Express LRS version, but not everybody wants Express LRS. Either of these are a solid choice for use with a simulator, and you can go on and fly them with real quads. Of those two, I like the Boxer. Currently, the Boxer is my daily driver. I'm just ready to officially say it. I haven't flown my TX16S since I got the Boxer, to be honest with you. I just like the form factor better. Not everybody agrees, but I do. Some people really prefer the game controller size, but the battery life on the Zorro is its big weak spot. And it doesn't charge from USB. So if you're using it on the simulator for long periods of time, you may need to plug in an auxiliary battery, which is kind of annoying. People asking ELRS Boxer shipping when? They are shipping continually, John Goblin. Shipments have gone out. They are. I don't know why this shows pre-order and not back order, but they are shipping. Yeah, it says shipment for the next batch. So they have already shipped a batch of Boxers, and this is a pre-order for the next batch. Okay. So people keep asking, when will they ship? It's like, I don't know. Where are you in the queue? Where are you in the queue? That's the question. People are pointing out that Team Black Sheep is apparently blowing out TX16S. I'm guessing this is V1 of the TX16S, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's still a great radio. It's not the Mark II. It has the standard Hall effect gimbals, but Jesus Christ, it's $60. That's a hell of a deal. That's a hell of a deal. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with that. Almost any complaint you would have about this, you can fix. Like, you don't like the gimbals? Spend $130 on some AGO1 gimbals, and you're still coming out ahead, given how cheap this damn radio is. That's a great price. Okay. Let's see here. Any way to update the screen refresh on the goggles too? No, Jonathan Jonas. They're 100 FPS screens, bing, bang, bong, that's it. What's the best 5-inch freestyle frame? Asks Mr. Delude. There is no single best frame. What's the best 5-inch freestyle frame? There is no single best frame. I'm obviously going to give a cop-out answer like that. The other thing I'm obviously going to do is promote my website, fpvknowitall.com. And we got to at least look, but then I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. We can look at the 5-inch freestyle parts here. We can go to frames, and these are... I like to say that these are solid choices, but not the only good choices. So this one is my frame, the JB QAVS. I like it because, well, I got to tweak it a little bit. I think it's a good balance. It's a little lighter weight than some other frames out there. It's got the right balance of lightweight and durability. There's the AOS 5, which is a little less durable. Very good balance of lightweight and durability. Some people dislike the aesthetics. It's a frame that was designed by an engineer. Like you can get two 30 millimeter. I think you get could you get 3 30 millimeter stacks in it? I'm sure you get at least 2 in the middle and the back. The arm, people say the arms break more than they would like. Some people say. I wonder if Chris Rosser is going to release like a thick arm version of it or something. I don't know. And then, of course, there's, in the premium range, there's the Impulse RC Apex, which is just a very, very good frame, but pretty expensive. Like $110, I think. FPV Cycle Glide is a very, very solid choice for someone wanting a more lightweight frame. It comes in at under 100 grams. And then the absolute cheapest is the TBS Source 1. Do you know Stingy's flying the Source 1? I don't know if he's announced that or anything, but you can get the Source 1 for $25-30. And yeah, it's not a $100 frame, but it'll get you in the air. It's well worth $25 or $30. The other frames, so all of these are good. They're not the only good ones, but these are the ones that sort of come to the top of my mind. Now, there's another one that I have been interested in. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. It's the Quadmula. Is that how you say it? Quadmula? Quadmula? Now, this is getting a lot of attention and has caught my eye. And I have been thinking about whether I need to put it on the website. And this is going to be like the Odonata. All the fans are going to be like, yes, you must put it! It looks like it is designed for lighter weight. Very compact. The Siren F5 split. What do we got here? I really haven't even looked into this very much. Focuses on lightweight. Yeah. 4.9, 5.1 inch. Even 5.5 inch props. That's nice. Supports almost all VTXs on the market. The C-lock structure to remove only one bolt. Risky. It better be well designed. If you've got a single bolt arm design, it's got to be well designed. Be curious to find out what Chris Rosser said about the resonance. We can certainly just look at the black box logs to find out about the resonance. What's the difference with the split? What's the split? What is a split? Stack damper. Oh, interesting. So the stack screws are hard mounted, but then there's a built-in integral vibration isolation system. That's clever. Oh, that's very clever. That's very clever. I hate mounting GoPros this way, but this is genius. This is genius. Every designer of 3D printed GoPro mounts needs to start doing something like this. Okay? I'm putting it out there. If you're not doing this, you need to start doing this. Now, I don't like what Quadmula is doing here exactly because... so what are they doing, first of all? The problem is that when you have a TPU GoPro mount, with a screw that goes through it. The screw head crushes the TPU, and it is impossible to get the screw perfectly tight, because if you tighten the screw too much, it'll rip through the TPU. And if you don't tighten the screw enough, the TPU rips out. The TPU is stretchy. It's just a pain in the ass. So what you do is you oversize the hole and you use a metal sleeve. The screw goes through the sleeve. The TPU doesn't get crushed. Boom, everything's perfect. Now, what I dislike about what Quadmula is doing here is that they're using these custom sleeves here. And unless you can show me, like on McMaster Car, where I can buy these exact things, which maybe you can, in which case I completely retract this criticism. If I can only get these exact things by buying them from Quadmula for whatever they are, probably overpriced, then I'm annoyed. It looks cool, but I don't like it. So what I liked, like for example, Catalyst Machine Works has done this. This is where I first saw this, so credit to them. Catalyst Machine Works ships all their TPU mounts with a metal sleeve, and you can buy these metal sleeves by the 100. Just a little 4mm M3 metal sleeve. And then your GoPro mounts don't rip out, and it's brilliant. So this is really good. Although I wish it wasn't like a weird proprietary countersunk part, although it does look pretty badass. VTX ready. M3 button head washer. Is that it? Can you buy these all over the place? That's not the exact thing though, Abraham. That doesn't have the metal sleeve. Do you see that this has a metal sleeve that goes down through? And so that the screw is contacting the carbon directly. And the TPU is not being crushed or under any stress. That's the goal. That's the goal. You don't want the screw to be pressing the TPU into the carbon. That's the weak spot. So no, that doesn't solve that problem. It looks like a really interesting flexible frame. Oh wow, dual capacitor. They've really thought this through. And I'm generally a fan of lighter weight frames over durability. I know that not everybody agrees with that, but this looks like a really appealing frame to me. For people who fly like bandos, so we got to mention two other frames. Let's mention two other frames here. There's the Rotor Riot tank, and there is the Demibot. Now, these two frames are designed for people who value durability over everything else. Okay? These frames come in, the dry weight of the frame is in the range of 160 to 170 grams. That's a massive amount of weight. It's a massive amount of weight. But this is not the frame. This is the built and tuned drone. But they are incredibly durable. And as much as I don't swing that way, there are definitely a lot of people out there who adore these frames. I actually got to hang out with Sean in Orlando, and he talked to me about his design process. And he said, look, if you're a beginner, you know, if I give you a frame that's an extra 40 grams of weight, you already aren't really pushing the sort of aerobatic bounds of the frame. You just need something that's going to keep you in the air. And so he would rather have something that is durable and going to keep you in the air than something that's going to give you that last nth degree of edge on your flight performance. John Goblin, man, there's two things that you have to be pretty brave to do. One is post your soldering to the internet, and the other is post your 3D prints to the internet. And, you know, you do you, buddy. But, that's, that's a janky, wow. That's a janky ass fucking, oh, pardon me, excuse me. What the hell is going on there, buddy? What is going on with that print, buddy? What are you doing, man? Ouch. I know. I couldn't resist. That's janky, bro. John Goblin says he's got a Demibot built under 700 grams. Oh, that's the support side. Oh, I guess I see your point. If you got a Demibot under 700 grams, then you could have had a Demibot at 660 grams. Okay? One of the arguments that Sean makes is that he flies the tank with an O3 air unit and no GoPro, and that more than makes up the difference. That's valid. That's valid. So there definitely are people for whom these are the best frame. People who value durability over all else. I will say, I flew the tank and was like, okay, this isn't bad. I could get it done. But then the instant I switched over to one of my quads and took the GoPro off, it was immediately so much more punchy and enjoyable to fly. And I was like, oh, yeah, no question. No question. So there you go. Best 5-inch freestyle frame. It depends on who you are, but hopefully that gives you something to think about. Let's see here. Let's get some more super chats queued up. B.A. Sheepy got you in the queue. Wait, I shift clicked it. Is that not how you do it? B.A. Sheepy says, I had a question about motor locks. Mine uses an M5 lock nut. Can I use M5 lock nut low profiles and the M5 lock nut tall? It just depends on how many threads you have on your shaft based on the thickness of the prop. You need the nylon insert to bite down and to be fully inserted. So as long as you have enough spare threads, yeah, you could use the tall or the low profile. Just need enough threads. Peter Schmidt. DJI OS. Oh, wait. No, that's how you. I see. I finally figured out how to queue the messages. It's control click. MKFPV. Have you dropped off? No. Dennis Camps, thanks for 249 euros. Tony Zito, thanks for $5. MKFPV, thanks for $10. I was able to install. How do I clear this message from BA Sheepy? See, there's no just clear. I have to find the message again and then click it. That's dumb. MKFPV, thanks for $10 super chat. I was able to install a tiny 20 by 20 millimeter fan on my Vista, powered straight from the flight controller on a 5-volt pad. Would this have any benefit to cooling? Yeah, of course. Of course, it would help cool the Vista, right? Oh, I see. Besides powering the quad on the bench. No. So MKFPV, once you're flying, the Vista probably is getting all the cooling it needs. The only benefit there will be when you're not flying. We got a question here from Peter Schmidt. DJI OSD finally. Any news? Thank you, Peter Schmidt, for 10 Polish zloty. Who doesn't have DJI OSD right now? I don't understand the question, Peter. I need more context about the hardware you're asking about. No, that goes away too. What type of plug does the Baby Vertel 2 use? It's a 3-pin plug. Thank you, Nuno Gomez, for €2. I don't know the name of the plug, Nuno. It's the same camera plug that every other camera uses, though. Null Cure says, what's your secret to keeping the color in your beard? Mine is completely white. Null cure, it must be genetics. I don't do a damn thing. I don't do a damn thing about my personal grooming pretty much at all. I shave my head because I got tired of I don't know. I got tired of cutting it, and I trimmed it real short. And then I decided to start shaving it and just go like full on bald. And occasionally I trim my beard, but I certainly don't do anything to manipulate the color of my hair. I am a proponent of aging gracefully. I mean, I guess is how I would put it. I don't want to act like there's some kind of like moral superiority there. If you're a person who prefers to like color your hair or wear makeup or do whatever you want to do to make yourself look how you want or feel like you need to look, I'm not gonna judge that. But personally, I'm just like, yes, I'm a human. I'm aging. My body is changing, and on some level, like I try to, like I notice, I got a pain in my knee or something, and I try to exercise to sort of stay mobile and alive, right? But as far as trying to look younger, I could not care less. I could not care less about looking younger. I am a 47-year-old man. I look like a 47-year-old man, hopefully. And when I'm a 60-year-old man, I'll probably look like a 60-year-old man. And I have no desire to look like something other than that. Personally, that's yeah. Well, that's just me. Other people feel differently and have the in some ways that's a privilege to be able to say that, because in some ways I'm still able to sort of be successful at life without forcing myself to look like something other than what I am, and not everybody's in that position. So certainly don't mean to talk down on them. I don't do a damn thing about my beard, though, that's for sure. Let's see. Aaron Allen. Wait, have I gone far back enough? Hold on, I don't want to miss super chats. Bob Griffith, thank you for a $4 super chat. Callie FPV, thanks for a $5 super chat. Twice in a couple of months, I've gotten a message in my goggles, too, saying compass calibration error, only to go away after reboot. Ever heard of this? I have also gotten that message. I have no idea what it is. I don't know why the goggles have a damn compass in them, but there you go. I have also gotten that message, and it just goes away, and I don't know what causes it. Thomas Alori, thank you for a $2 super chat. Is it smart to buy a used SharkBite module for $66? I mean, if you're interested in getting into HD0 and you're interested, you already have a set of goggles with an HDMI input, $66 is pretty cheap. Especially if that comes with antennas, then it's real cheap. The SharkBite module has full performance. The only thing that it can't do is the 90 FPS mode and the ultra low latency 3 millisecond latency mode, but that requires the HD0 goggles, which is a pretty, that's like 10 times the cost. So you're probably not going to do that. That is a very effective. I mean, you're not missing out on anything in terms of features or performance, except that 90 FPS camera, which you can't use. But you really need the HD0 goggles for that anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. There's no deal breakers there that I can think of. Let's see here. Let me queue up a few more super chats. Let's see here. And okay. Okay. All right. I got a couple more super chats queued up. So let's get them, and then we'll go back to the Discord and the regular chat. Madraw, milliamp hour draw, says, would like to know how HD0 system fits into the 5.8 band and works in a standard race timer system. Good news, HD0 was designed to very closely match the spectral performance of an analog system. It uses overlapping channels. And so if you're used to analog channel layout, it uses race band 1 through 8, and I think 2 Fat Shark band channels in order to avoid IMD interference. But it works perfectly with standard race timing systems, and that is one of the big advantages of HD0. So no issues there. Aaron Allen, thanks for a $5 super chat. Just started playing Trip FPV, but I only have an Xbox controller. What radio should I get? I don't mind spending a couple $100 on a radio. Well, we had a segment about this earlier in the stream. I think the Radio Master Boxer is my personal favorite. Radio Master TX16S is a great choice. Or if you want a gamepad style radio, the Radio Master Zorro. There are other radios out there that are good radios. Those would be my personal picks. If you want to spend a few $100, then upgrade the Radio Master Boxer with the AGO1 all-metal gimbals. And now you spent $230 or $250-ish instead of $100-ish. But those are my personal picks. Jimmy Nature wants to know, do you think Radio Master will be producing custom Boxer radios like the Max version of the TX16S or other special editions? Yeah, I mean, it seems like they would. They have got a jillion special edition versions of the TX16S, so it seems like, if the Boxer becomes popular, they will probably branch out in that direction, but of course, who knows? What's your take on digital VTX durability? Walksnail is so fragile. Thanks, for, Quad City Bay Area, for a $5 super chat. Yeah, HD0 and Walksnail durability is not at the level of, well, certainly not at the level of DJI, which DJI VTXs are damn near indestructible. Not completely, but pretty darn durable. And even analog VTXs tend to be more durable, I think, in a lot of cases. But I mean, what can you do? What can you do? I do think that is one of the reasons someone might hesitate to go with HD0 or Walksnail over analog or DJI. And it's tough because it's very hard to sort of quantify that. You get a lot of sort of anecdotal reports, and like, how many anecdotal reports are there versus how many units sold? No one knows. Maybe the manufacturers know, but they're not telling. But in general, I think that most people would probably feel that Walksnail and HD0 VTXs are not as durable as they wish that they were, especially given their price. What do you think about the new Darwin FPV Cine Ape? Thank you, Banjo Dev, for €2. Here's what I think. Darwin FPV, we actually, Blunty and I just covered this in the new product roundup that we recorded on Thursday. It's not out yet. Darwin FPV Cine Ape, $192. That's actually, I'm surprised it's that high. No. Why is it so? Oh, it's because of the batteries. There we go. Darwin FPV Cine Ape with an Express LRS receiver is $152. That is shockingly cheap. Hang on. Darwin FPV is actually what I want. Darwin FPV. They've got a 5-inch quad, bind and fly with no receiver. Okay, fair enough. No receiver for $170, and a 7-inch quad for $160. Again, no receiver. So add $15 or $20 to that for a receiver. And here's the thing. All three of these quads are so inexpensive that if they're like even the least bit usable, they're going to be worth the money to somebody. Like an analog bind and fly these days is $250 to $300 most other places. That's like half the price of an analog bind and fly most other places. Now, Darwin FPV is certainly giving something up to get the price down. There's a reason that an iFlight Evoke isn't $150. If iFlight could sell it for $150, they would. But in general, I think Darwin FPV has proven themselves. Like, there's some companies I won't name that sell really cheap stuff that everybody kind of just knows is crap. And you're rolling the dice when you buy it. And maybe you get a good one, and maybe you get a bad one, or maybe it lasts 3 crashes, or maybe it lasts 20 crashes. You know? I don't feel like Darwin FPV is there. They're certainly cutting some corners to get the price down, but I would bet, based on what I've seen from Darwin FPV, that there's going to be a fair number of people who would spend $170 on this and be happy and feel like they got their money's worth. And likewise for this, and probably likewise for this. Right? I don't know. I mean, I'm tempted to buy one of these and just beat the shit out of it and see how it deals. You know? Because, I mean, it used to be you'd get a really good analog bind and fly for $200. Not anymore. It's pretty tough anyway. So yeah, that's my opinion of the Cine-Ape and all these others. Darwin FPV, in my opinion, Darwin FPV has been around long enough that I feel like I have a read on what kind of product they make. And I feel like what they do is they try to slice this line of selling stuff at a really low price and finding the right corners to cut that their customers feel like they got a good deal most of the time. So that's my take. See, now I can't clear the goddamn message without going and finding the message again. How did you, god dang developers, not see this coming? How did you oh, anyway. Now I gotta find the message again. Oh, except the message has now rolled out of the queue. So even though I'm freaking looking at it, in my freaking, I can't actually find the message to clear it off the goddamn. God dang it. That's so... Why? Why would you do that? How? How did you not... How did this not come up? In testing. How did this get... Who's responsible for this nonsense? I didn't even frickin' update this plugin. So how did this plugin auto-update? Continuing. Peter Schmidt wants to know when HD OSD will work for the O3 Air unit. I see, Peter. There's your question. All right, let's put Peter's question up. That's on DJI to release that. No one knows when they'll do that. I am confident that they are working on it. I heard from Betaflight devs that DJI engineers had reached out to them about it and were working on it. So I feel fairly confident that it will come. But I don't know. No one knows when it will come. One IFPV says, what's your take on Chris Rosser's new ultralight 7-inch? Let's look at that. The ultralight 7. No, that's the UL5. Where's the UL7? Well, here it is. So I hate this style of design. Now, wait for it. It doesn't mean it's not good. But this style of design has been done before. And I think that there's reasons why we moved away from it. First of all, it is a humongous pain in the ass to assemble. Getting all of these slots in and getting the screws. What's going to happen if when you break one of these? Okay? Let's say I break this one. How do I replace that? Now, and you tell me. I didn't watch the release video yet. But you tell me if I'm wrong about this. How am I going to replace this one strut when it breaks? Do I have to take all of these screws out, lift off the whole top plate, and now all the goddamn arms fall out all over the damn place? Are you joking? That's sure what it looks like to me. Want to solder on the flight controller? All of the goddamn arms fall out and fall all over the place. And then, when I try to put it back together again, do you know how much I'm going to swear trying to get all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these tabs in and then getting the screws in? Are you joking? No. Oh. How, can I get at these motor screws from the bottom? I better be able to. I will rage if I can't get at these motor screws from the bottom. Let's give Chris Rosser the benefit of the doubt and assume that these holes are cut out to allow you to get at the motor screws from the bottom. No, this thing is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Is it? The other thing is, I feel really confident that these slots are going to be very difficult to precisely machine. So either we're going to have tabs that are a little too big and won't go in and you got to file them down, or we're going to have tabs that are a little too small and now they're loose. And then what? What keeps this from developing vibration if the slots are a little bit loose? See, normally you've got sandwich plates and the tension of the screw keeps the plate sandwiched and helps prevent vibration. But this feels like over time, no, it's an ultralight frame for cruising. Okay, fine. You're not supposed to crash it. Shut up. Everything crashes eventually. Maintainability is a concern. Peter Schmidt says the tabs are ultra-fine and precisely machined. On yours they are. Show me a run of 500 and show me that the first one and the last one are precisely machined. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. Buy a new one when you crash it. I still have to build it one time. And so how much weight are we saving? That's the big question. I don't know. Let's find out. You know? How much weight? I can't find frame specs. Weight, TBA. Shut up. How much weight do you save? The motors hold the arm plates in place when the top plate comes off. Yeah, okay, but you still have to align them with the top plate so they don't fall over. That's fine. It's claimed to be built under 500 grams dry. All right. Well, if it's under 500 grams dry, let's just compare it to the AOS 7. How much weight have we saved? Good question. No, that can't be right. Oh, that's built. That's built, Abraham. What's the weight of the frame itself? Can anybody help? How much weight has he saved? That's the big question. I mean, comparing it to the Darwin 7-inch is a little unfair because the Darwin is really compact and it's basically like a racing frame. This is a roomy cruiser frame. Fine. Can anybody tell me the dry weight of the frame itself? Or I guess we could compare it to, what's the Chimera 7 Pro come in at? Can we get a dry weight on the Chimera 7 Pro? Highlights, specifications. 700 grams. So, if he literally saved 200 grams, that doesn't work. No, that's not right. Takeoff weight, approximately 750 grams. The battery has to be more than 50 grams. See, we don't have reliable numbers on weights. On weight. The Apex LR7 is 160 grams dry. We don't know the weight. So if he's saved, here's the thing. On a 7-inch build, you're going to be coming in around, I think you're going to be coming in around a kilogram with a battery for a 7-inch long-range cruiser. I think you're going to be coming in around a kilogram all up. So the question is, does this frame save you? Like, let's say this frame saved you 100 grams. I wouldn't. Nah. Right? The hassle of having to maintain it and build it, personally, I probably would just pass. If this frame saved you 200 grams, that's like 20% of your weight. To me, that's where it would start getting to a point where I'd be like, oh, maybe it's worth it. But if the Apex LR7 is 160 grams, and this is 170 grams, I feel like there are more livable frames. I don't know what the resonance characteristics on this are, right? Maybe it's shit. I don't know. I feel like there's more livable frames out there. And this is an engineer who spent a little too much time locked in a dark room with a CAD program. And I don't know. It really hinges on how much weight he saved. Because I think that there's a lot of compromises in maintainability and livability with this design. But if he saved a shitload of weight, it might be worth it. That's what I would say about that. Califax wants to know, is there a way to swap the momentary switch to the other side of the Boxer? Califax is asking this because they fly discus launch gliders, right, Califax? Am I right about that? And they want the momentary switch on the right side so they can, or the left, I don't know, the left side so they can launch with their right hand. This is your fault for not being left-handed. Finally, as a left-handed person, finally something in this world that is wrong for you. There is no way to do that, not without soldering. You would need to solder. I actually asked Owen Lee, the owner, well, she's like the owner, but Owen Lee at Radio Master, and he said yes. He actually, I don't know if he does discus launch gliders, but he's very familiar with DLGs, and he said basically they had to pick a side for the Boxer, and most other radios have the momentary on the right and the two position on the left, and that's how they did it. They are aware that DLG pilots would like it the other way around, but DLG pilots are just such a minority. And there's no way to... You could open the radio up, desolder the switch, swap the switches out. You could do that. But other than that, no. There's no way to do it. Let's see here. So, YouTube is doing a new thing. And I want you guys to tell me about this. What's your experiences like? Because I'm not sure. YouTube has started running ads in the middle of my live streams. Some of you are about to see an ad. When it comes back, does it just cut back to wherever I am? Or, now some of you are watching an ad. Or does it, like, pick up where you left off and now you're 30 seconds behind? Yeah. You just lose the time. Interesting. That's odd. Yeah, I turned on mid-roll ads for the live streams, but I didn't realize that they would play during the live stream. I thought it was only for the replay. So, there you go. Good to know. All right, well, if you have YouTube Premium, then you're not seeing the stuff. Get YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium is great. No one has YouTube Premium. Well, apparently some people do. You can skip the mid-roll. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want mid-rolls to interrupt my live stream. I only want mid-rolls on the replays where it doesn't really matter. All right, well, thank you for letting me know. Yeah. YouTube Premium. I mean, I don't know. I understand if you watch a ton of YouTube, YouTube Premium is 1000% worth it. What is it up to now? It's gone. It's changed prices. I think it was like $15 a month when I last saw it. Like when I watch YouTube and I'm accidentally logged into a different account, I loathe the experience. It's so ad-filled. I hate it. And other people who are professionals at YouTube tell me that a lot of viewers doesn't really matter. They just skip the ads. They don't really care. I'm like, okay, if you say so. How much is it? Annual plan. No, I have YouTube. I still want to know. How much is it? $12 a month. Yeah. If you watch a lot of YouTube, the ad-free is so freaking worth it. I understand that, like, if you have HBO and Netflix and Hulu and Spotify, then that adds up. So $12 a month may be too much, but it's well worth it. That's like my favorite one. Dominique Campdell, I do think my power cord will kill the battery if you leave it plugged in. Not 100% sure on that. At least it has an LED. So eventually the LED would pull the battery down. Yeah, I would unplug it. AK Drone Flyer, are you saying that after the ad, it picks up right where it left off and now you're behind on the live stream? I mean, to me, that seems like the right thing to do because you wouldn't want to miss the content. But it does mean you fall behind on the chat. Can you confirm that, please? It comes back live. So you miss the content. Which is it? Null Cure says it comes back live. All right, anyway, no one knows. Mahdraw, thank you for another $10 super chat. Appreciate that donation. Quad City Bay Area, thank you for a $5 super chat. Even with my LEDs turned off, I'm getting a high milliamp hour used. Is this normal? No, probably, though, your current sensor is inaccurate. You need to calibrate the current sensor. That's most likely it. So verify that the current draw is accurate, I would say. Yeah, by the way, a lot of people are saying just use an ad blocker. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I will not be advocating using an ad blocker because I think it's actually against YouTube's terms of service for you to tell people how to block ads or like seem. I don't want to butt up against that. So I will not be going any further down that road, but I understand that a lot of tech savvy people just use an ad blocker. And yeah, obviously, like, so to me, the big advantage of YouTube Premium is that they divvy half that $12 a month. Half of it goes to YouTube and half of it goes to the creators that you watch. And it's divvied up by how much time, I think it's by watch time. And even if you watch 30 different creators, that $6 a month divided by is so much more money than the ad revenue that I would get from you watching my ads. So I like the fact that with YouTube Premium, I don't see ads, but I also know that the creators who I watch are getting supported, and it's really just a win-win. That's my opinion. Anyway, enough about that. Danzilla the Terrible asks, since it's a good idea to calibrate the accelerometer from time to time, is it possible to have it auto-calibrate? I can never remember the stick shortcuts. No, and you also can't assign it to a switch. You wouldn't want it to auto-calibrate because the quadcopter might not be flat. Right? You only want it manually calibrated. You just got to memorize the stick shortcuts. You can also do it from the on-screen display from the menu and maybe from the Lua script. I'm not sure. There's no way to do it like with a switch mode though. Dominique Campdell, thank you for a $10 super chat. I got you. Zero Mode, thanks for 2 Swiss francs. Is there a list of O3 ready 5-inch frames? I don't know about that. Most of them are being updated. Yeah. Jason Hind points out that YouTube people are saying just use an ad blocker. Well, YouTube Premium works on all devices. So if you've got a Roku or something, a smart TV, YouTube Premium will avoid showing you ads on that too, and it's not as easy to do ad blockers on those third-party devices, although it's not impossible, as people are pointing out. They're recently beta testing a higher bitrate image quality tier for premium users as well, which excites me. You can't calibrate the accelerometer in the air because there's all kinds of G-forces throwing it off. ZLB07 says, I just set up and power up a Caddx Walnut. It's turned on, but it's unresponsive. It won't record, do Wi-Fi, or turn off. Any idea? I think you should contact Caddx. Is there I've heard of some people getting DOA walnuts. And I don't know if this is a known issue, but I have heard of people having this problem and their walnut is just dead. Hornet wants to know, on an all-in-one flight controller with Walksnail VTX, would you use VBAT from the DJI plug or power it via an external BEC? I would probably use VBAT out of sheer laziness, but it probably would, but the VTX would probably last longer with an external BEC. How's that? How's that for an answer? John Goblin points out, that's why I always upload in 4K and watch in 4K. Likewise, John. Even though my content is produced in 1080p, I upload it as 4K to force YouTube to give me the best bit rate. Quad City Bay Area. Thanks for another $5 super chat. I'm building a Pavo 25. My Betaflight orientation is correct, but the quad is not pitching, rolling straightly. It's sort of diagonal pitch and roll. Well, then your orientation is not correct. So Quad City Bay Area, everybody puts the flight controller in the frame, and they look at the forward-facing arrow on the flight controller, and they go, oh, that must be right. But at the end of the day, if the 3D model doesn't move correctly in the setup tab, the orientation is not correct. So you have to adjust the orientation. Like, you probably need either plus or minus 45 degrees of orientation. At the end of the day, that has to be correct. Got a question here from Agro Aaron, just switching to Crossfire, and I wanted to use diversity for added range and reliability. Is there a good resource for setting up diversity? There's nothing. What's to set up, I guess, is the question, Aaron. So the diversity receiver has 2 antennas instead of 1. You do need to mount the receivers on your quad. I don't know if there's like a tutorial about how to do that, but I mean, at the end of the day, you just install the receiver, you mount the antennas, and boom, you have diversity. It's automatic. Is there some special setup that's required? Maybe there's more to your question. But installing a diversity receiver is the same as installing a regular receiver, except that you've got 2 antennas to install instead of 1. We got a question here from Peter, who asks, the JHE MCU F4 NOXE, is it usable? Anybody? I don't have an opinion about it. Does anybody have an opinion about the JHE MCU F4? Has anyone used it? I don't have a ton of experience with JHE MCU flight controllers. They are inexpensive. I don't know if they're great. John Goblin says it's okay. It's cheap. Layman board, in-flight accelerometer calibration is an option in Betaflight. No, that's accelerometer trim, not calibration. Accelerometer trim is different from calibration. Accelerometer calibration tells the flight controller which direction is down. Accelerometer trim tells it where the accelerometer should hold itself to cause the quadcopter not to drift based on things like center of mass and so forth, weight distribution, etc. So those are different things. Tony Morgan wants to know. Tony, thank you for a $10 super chat. What do you think about a $25 to $30 Chinese variable bench power supply? Is it even worth the money? There are probably some out there that are worth the money. Like I personally use the Toolkit RC P200. It's been pretty good for me. It's $115 though. Like a $30 power supply, like I probably would not lean too hard on the amp limit. But I mean, there's probably use cases where that makes sense. I probably wouldn't rule it out. Comic Sniper wants to know, what's the deal with model match? Leave it for 99% of people. Turn model match off. Leave it off. End of story. Model match, it locks the receiver to a certain model in the radio, and the receiver will not sort of come to life and bind, basically, if you haven't got the right model loaded in the radio. There are also certain parameters in ExpressLRS that are tied to the model match, to the model ID. So you can have different ELRS profiles. Like you can have one profile for your long distance quads that's 50 hertz, and one profile for your racing quads that's 500 hertz. And then automatically that profile will be loaded by the ExpressLRS system based on which receiver you're binding to. So there are some uses for it, but most people aren't taking advantage of those uses and find it confusing and just turn it off. You're saying you have to turn it on, then off in the Lua script or the quad won't arm. That doesn't make any sense to me. I can't think of what would cause that. As I said previously in the live stream, the first thing I would do is look at the LED on the receiver. At that moment where it's not binding and not working, look at the LED on the receiver and what is it doing? And that will start to get you moving towards troubleshooting the problem. Because the blinks of the receiver will tell you, like a model mismatch is 3 blinks. Blink, 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 blink. So that's where I would start troubleshooting this. It's More wants to know, what do you think about the Beyond Earth FPV backpack? Thank you for €5. I haven't heard of this. I'm always down to see a new FPV backpack. Is this the one? Oh, 125 Swiss francs is not that much for an FPV backpack. What do we got here? We got a web page that won't let me zoom in. That's what we got here. F your whole web page because I can't right click and I can't zoom in. I hate you and I hate the world that we have created. Why would you do this to me? Do I have my right click plugin turned on? I don't think I do. Sometimes my own, no, see, I don't have my enable right click plugin is not messing me up. Let's go here in an income. Before I conclude that your website sucks, go to the website in an incognito window to see if my plugins are messing me up. Nope. Your website sucks. F you and F your website. Because I want to look at your product closer and I can't. Okay, fine. Fine. I found the little plus. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Right click, open a new tab. It's not there. They've broken the right click menu because they hate people using the website in the way that they want to. They want to prevent you. Why? Why can't I right click this and open a new tab? It's not there. F you. The small thumbnail? Oh yeah, that's helpful. That's super helpful. That's super helpful. No. All right, anyway, there's a plus right here. Fine. Let's go back to talking about this backpack. What do we got here? Soft-sided. No dividers. I mean, is it an FPV backpack at this point? Like, I mean, not that backpacks all have to have dividers, but isn't that like what usually distinguishes them? The quote-unquote FPV backpacks? It doesn't seem like, it just seems like a backpack. What makes this an FPV backpack? Like, it's just, you got straps on the back for strapping stuff to it? Okay. It's just a backpack. I mean, it's probably a fine backpack. Yeah, it's just a backpack. Okay. How do I get out of this? There we go. Without interior division to ensure high flexibility when packing. I mean, that's one way to look at it. That's one way to look. It's just a backpack. It's a 3. So the question is like, this is what I always do when evaluating. No. It's LA police gear. Sorry. Bags and packs. Packs. Stop it. Just let me use your website. Why do you do this? Tactical backpacks. 3-day LA police gear, 3-day backpack. Okay. So this backpack is price $55. $55. If you were gonna buy this, should you buy this instead? And I say this I own this backpack. It is extremely well made. It's giant. It has so much room. Not everybody's going to want this backpack. Like, there are things but like, you could strap anything you want to the outside. It's covered in molly webbing, or however you say that word, molly webbing. It like, give me a break. Can I see the inside? Let me see it opened up. Hello. So if you were going to get something like this, which is essentially just like a backpack, then spend 1/3 the price on some, and this is probably better made, because this is either an OEM version of a cheap backpack that some Chinese company makes that they slap their logo on, or they went to a company and they had them make them a backpack, but it's extremely small quantity, so they had to give up quality to get the price down. That's likely, I think. I don't know anything specifically about this backpack, but that just seems likely to me. So instead, we've got this, which is high volume. I own one. It's really solid quality. It's gigantic. And it's 1/3 the price. Now, maybe you want a special FPV backpack with LED lights on the back and dividers internally. Okay, now you're going to pay $200. You're not going to find that over at LA Police Gear. But if you're going to get what essentially amounts to just a big backpack that you put on your back and has some compartments, then spend $50 on something like this. That's my opinion. I don't know. I don't see what makes this like special that I would pay $150 for it. It's just like a regular backpack. And if I wanted a regular backpack, I'd spend $50 on one from like LA Police Gear. Anyway, that's my opinion. Sunshine. Welcome back to this live stream, Sunshine. Sunshine with $100 super chat. Jeez, no pressure, Sunshine. Sunshine says, I'm having issues with my Ghost Zepto. I've used plenty of Atos and hybrid boards with no problems. Detail specs and explanation pictures in the Discord patron chat. Okay. For $100, I think we can take some time to answer your question. We got a Flywoo Mr. Croc HD. Let me full screen this so I can see the whole thing. We got a Flywoo Mr. Croc HD. Doesn't really matter. Original DJI Air Unit V1. Original DJI FPV camera. IRC Zepto. Zepto uses smaller antenna. This is the first time using Zepto. I did notice a nick. Do you think it's defective, or what is the problem you're having, Sunshine? What's the problem you're having? You haven't told me a symptom. What's the... Look at the pics. Range problem. Oh, okay. Hang on. 5 feet. Okay, so... Yeah, so you have low RSSI. At a distance of 5 feet from the quad, you should be seeing an RSSI... I don't remember what my number is, but 76 is way too low. So this could point to an antenna problem. That's the number one thing to look at, especially if it's only one receiver doing this. Yeah. So does the Zepto have a soldered antenna? Does it have a soldered antenna? Oh, let's see. No, it's got a UFL. Oh, no question. Just swap that antenna, man. 100%. Easy troubleshoot. I mean, maybe, I'm not guaranteeing it'll fix the problem, but like, easy troubleshoot to try a new antenna. Take an antenna off of one of your ADOs and just click it on here and see if that brings your RSSI up. 1,000%, that's what you should do. The Lumineer T6. What's the Lumineer T6? I can't switch to the ADO. Oh, does it have a bigger UFL connector? Does the ADO have a bigger... okay, fine. Nevertheless, I would 1,000% swap the antenna. So anytime you've got low RSSI, the first thing to check, I guess, is the transmit power, but that's not really adjustable on these receivers, or on these. It is adjustable on the module, I guess. So it should double check your transmit power, but I assume you've done that, and then swap the antenna, because the broken antenna will 1,000% cause low RSSI. Especially because you're only getting it on this one receiver. And all your other receivers are fine, so you know your module is fine. So the question is, where can you get... Are you in the USA, Sunshine? You're not in the USA, are you? You are in the... Are you in the USA? So, like, can we just find one of these? Like, here it is, Zepto in stock at Progressive RC. So, like, if you've got a back order, I mean, you find it here. Progressive RC has it in stock, apparently. So, buy yourself a spare. Can you buy just a spare antenna? That's a little trickier. Orca FPV is going to take a while to ship to you, unfortunately, because it's in Europe. Ghost Zepto receiver. That's Ghost Atto. That's not right. Back ordered. Does Rotoride have it in stock? Why does Rotoride have a Zepto receiver? That's interesting. Rotoride's got it in stock too. That's $5 more. It's $29.95 instead of $24.95. Yeah, that's 1,000% what you should do. And I'll bet it fixes it, but I don't know. I can't be sure, obviously. Thank you for the very, very generous donation. Tony Zito. We're coming to the end of the stream. If you are on the Discord, I will meet you in the video game voice and video games channel. If you want to be on voice, you can be on voice. If you want to just chat, we'll be in the video games channel at about 15 minutes after the hour, and we will try to get playing. So we've got a couple more super chats coming in, though. Let's see here. Tony Zito, thanks for a $5 super chat. I'm new to FPV. What do you recommend to start with? What about Avata? I'm going to be doing indoor fly-throughs in real estate and business. I know that some people in my chat will disagree with this and want to roast me. The DJI Avata, if you just want to get in, you just want to fly and don't want to dick around, and if you're going to be doing indoor real estate fly-throughs, the DJI Avata is like such a solid way to start. People are like, I want to do real estate fly-throughs. Should I buy a Cinewhoop? I'm like, yeah, if you are excited about FPV and you want to learn to fly a Cinewhoop as a hobby, fine. But as a professional, you're going to get fine results out of the Avata. You're going to crash it way less, and you're even going to have some fun. The Avata is somewhat fun to fly. And, like, if you got the money for it, by all means, get the Avata. Okay, feel free to roast me. Avata will require remote ID. That's true. That's true. Like, it's not that the Avata doesn't have any downsides, but I think for, like, just some dude walking in off the street who doesn't want to be a hardcore FPV hobbyist yet, maybe they will. The Avata will do the job of real estate fly-throughs more than adequately. It will make it harder to crash for a beginner. It will make it harder to lose your quad for a beginner. It will make it easier to just get the experience of flying. And under the right circumstances, you can rip it around a little bit and have fun. And then maybe you're like, FPV is great. Now I want to learn to fly acro. Maybe not. But yeah, the Avata would be a solid choice. If you come to me and you say, what should my first FPV drone be? A lot of times I'm not going to say an Avata. But if you come to me and you say, I think I might want the Avata as my first FPV drones, I'm probably not going to steer you away from it. Especially if you then say real estate walkthroughs. Yeah. Arrow, thanks for a $5 super chat. I have a Goku GN745 AIO with no amp readings, just getting volts and telemetry. Arrow, double check that in the power and battery tab, make sure that the current sensor is set to onboard ADC. If it is set to onboard ADC and it's still not working, I would have to conclude that it's broken and there really isn't a way to fix it other than getting a new flight controller. Pepe Zhao, thank you for a €5 super chat. Can you use the power LED module from the iFlight backpack with lithium-ion batteries? I mean, I don't think it cares. It just needs to... What's the rated input voltage? Abraham says, I'm going to a real estate walkthrough later. The realtor told me to leave my drone at home. I should say, a lot of people want to do drone fly-throughs of homes, and that's fine. Frankly, I think there's an argument to be made that a lot of home walkthroughs could be done with a handheld gimbal better than some people could do them with a flying drone. It's not universal, but the power module is rated for 2 to 6S. Yes, so you could use 2 lithium ions, no problem. Yeah, gimbal on a stick can do a lot of the same stuff. Not all the same moves as a drone, but you'll get better results in a lot of cases with a gimbal on a stick compared to a quad. But quads are fun. All right, folks, we are going to wrap up the live stream. It is 3 minutes after the hour. Thank you guys for coming out. It's good to be back. Patrons, I will see you momentarily. I'm going to go pee and get a drink. I'll see you momentarily in the video games channel on the Discord server and the video game voice channel. And we will attempt to have a good time playing Fall Guys for a little while. For everybody else, I will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. We're back! We're back, everybody! Sorry, Siati. Siati's going to be live streaming, so he can't play with us. Unless he wants to play with us and live stream playing with us, which, of course, he's welcome to do. But there you go. It's gonna do it. We are done. We're out of here.